and test and so forth. The next month's program meeting, I promise we'll get back to regular lectures and stuff. And I have Kevin Schindler from Lowell Observatory. He's kind of a cool guy. He's the public affairs officer at Lowell Observatory. And he hosted all of Palomar docents, maybe 5 years ago. And he actually let us go into Percival Lowell's, that little tomb area. So we opened the door and saw the inside, and we actually saw the Pluto discovery plate that was in the basement. One of the plates is there, one of the plates is in the Smithsonian. All the others are our usual fairly crowded schedule. Good news is all the fixed star parties are back on. We seem to have everybody going for June and July. I got to do it this way. I didn't do the news this time because we have so many things going on with the trivia contest, but I did pick up an ASIG image from Michael Johnson, and I don't know where he is because I haven't seen him at TDS for a while, but I was kind of interested in this because he actually took it on a Canon, an old DSLR. It looks like it's very saturated. I've never gotten this much color in the the cigar galaxy, but I think that's just shows what you can do with a DSLR if you're good at it. And now for the famous trivia night. So I will pull this down so we can look at everybody in the stands if I can. Okay, we're all back. Okay, so this is our first astronomy trivia event. Questions are from the history of astronomy and topics from planetary, stellar, and astrophysics, but they're in no thematic order, although at times you'll see a series of related questions. The format is variable. They're multiple choice, they're short answer, and a few true or false questions. You may plead for hints. Some hints may be given. It's on the honor system. So keep your own tally of your score. And now at the end, we'll do them by categories and see who seems to be in the highest category. Following this official set of questions, assuming we get through them all, Gracie, Mike, and I will open the floor to anyone who wants to stump the group themselves. I think we call that stump the chumps. Any questions about the event and how it's going to proceed? Okay, I'll do the first 10. Gracie will do 10. Mike Chasen will do 10, then back to me and so forth. And we'll proceed through the night. So let's start with some SDAA questions. Who knows in what year SDAA was formally incorporated? Anybody? Okay. Nobody's shouting out an answer, and I didn't say that we could or not, but it was 1993. I don't know how many got that.
Google.
Google. Well, I'm trying to keep up the pace so they can't Google. And by the way, you'll never find that. Well, you can find it on the SDAA documents.
But
what
was that year again?
1963. SDAA was formally incorporated. In what year did SDAA receive the major use permit for TDS and advertise private pads? The pads were at $100 each, which is more than they are now. And all of this was prior to the actual site development. So what year? See if you can get it within 4 years. Okay, the answer is 1976. A recent question. What is the focal length of the Topham 24, the giant Dobsonian club scope that Dave Decker and Ed Rumsey like to pull out with a great deal of assistance? What do you think? Answer.
Go ahead
You
and
can
shout it
shout.
out.
8.2.
That's the focal ratio?
Yep.
I don't know, Dave. I've got the focal length.
That's that's I think he's talking about the lip. The lip is 8.2.
And that's not the focal ratio either.
That's not the focal ratio. Okay, but this is the giant Dobsonian that spends most of his life in the in storage. Okay, the answer is 12 feet. Where are at least 8 SDAA members headed next week? RTMC?
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. All right. I think everybody got that. How about some more general subjects? What type of galaxy is the most common in the universe?
Global.
Global. Global.
Well, elliptical is technically.
Elliptical. Yeah, the answer is
Ding,
elliptical.
ding, 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 ding.
What's the most common type of star found in the Milky Way?
Type in.
They're smaller. They're
White
red,
dwarf.
red dwarfs.
Red dwarf.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Short answer. You should all know this one. What NASA space flight was the last manned mission to the moon? Apollo what?
17.
Got it. How many minutes was the shortest manned space flight? The shortest. Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 30? Or maybe 90? What do you think? Okay, it was 15. Al Shepard, first American in space, suborbital. Okay, now a series of short answers, and I'll do the first one and then turn it over to Mike, if you're ready, Mike. Okay, How many moons are there in total in our solar system? Hint, it's over 50. Give yourself credit for an answer within 20 moons of the correct answer. How many moons? Ooh. It's over 50. It's over 100. It's over 150. The answer is 181. Okay, we're keeping our own tally. We're on the honor system. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Ken. Hey, everyone, give me an emotion or a reaction here if you have a score of 0 so far. That's pretty much where I'm at. Thank you, honest people. Okay, some of you knew people were going to the Grand Canyon, so that was cool. All right, I'm going to dumb it down for me. How many constellations are there? How many constellations? Someone could blurt it out.
66.
Higher.
88.
88. Very good.
Oh, that's what I meant. 88 keys on the. I meant to say 88.
This isn't the San Diego Piano Club, though. Okay, what is the hottest planet in the solar system, temperature-wise? Not like best looking. Anybody?
Venus.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
Next, there have been more missions to which planet than any other planet?
Mars.
More missions to this planet than any other planet. Who can take a stab at it?
I heard.
What's that?
Mars.
Mars. That's actually the second highest. The first highest is Earth. No, that's a trick question. Yes, it's Mars. You're right. I'll give it to you. Okay, based on the first spectroscopic analysis of a planetary nebula. Can you tell I didn't write this? Based on the first spectroscopic analysis of a planetary nebula, William Huggins in 1864 proved objects are gas clouds, not a galaxy or star cluster. Here comes the question. Name the famous bright nebula that has a feline connection. We probably could have just gone with that sentence. Okay. Name the famous bright nebula. What is it?
The Cat-Eye Nebula.
Wonderful. And good job staying awake through the first part. Okay. This is also not a question I wrote. What are Fraunhofer lines? Okay, this is multiple choice. Are Fraunhofer lines cracks in a telescope mirror, absorption lines in a stellar spectrum, defects in a CCD camera, or bright lines in the spectrum of a Bunsen burner flame? And Uday, congratulations in the chat. You were the first in there to recognize the absorption lines in a stellar spectrum. Who wants to hear me say Bunsen burner flame 3 times fast? Okay, moving along. Which astronaut is famous for having written his daughter's initials in the moon? That's a good one. You can only see them if you're using a stellar spectrum. Let's see, I'm trying to think of a good clue.
Apollo.
Buzz
Apollo
Aldrin,
mission.
no.
What Apollo mission was he on? That's a clue.
Not Buzz, not Shepard. I love the use of the chat here, though. This is handy.
One of the later ones.
One of the later ones. Okay, I'm going to spoil it for you. You are used to hearing his dulcet tones in Mission Command. It was the voice quite a bit, I think. Maybe? Yes, Gracie says yes. Gene Cernan. Mr. Gene Cernan, yes. All right, Ken, what do I have? A couple more to go?
You got
Yeah.
about 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's hard to keep count.
This is a hard one. Okay, I would
I
have got
actually
this wrong.
remembered them.
Okay. I would have gotten all of them wrong. But what color is Mars's sunset? What color is Mars' sunset? What color is the sunset in Mars?
Orange.
It is not. That's what I would have thought. Okay, if you're into light. Oh, I saw it in the chat. Blue.
Blue.
You gotta see how fast I can read this. In a 2014 study, it used data from the Mars rover Spirit. Eller and his colleagues found that Martian dust scatters light very differently than gas molecules do. The reason for the blue sunset is the pattern in which light scatters off those dust particles. Okay. What planet rotates on its side? Okay, that's a Mike question.
It's Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had to work at least one Uranus comment in here, and we can all confirm that that's the right way to say the word, except when you're at a star party with teenagers. Okay, last one for me, and then I'm going to kick it over to Gacy.
Or drunk people.
To Gracie.
Gacy?
My apology.
Thank you, darling.
Spacey. You can be Spacey tonight.
I've been called that before.
In what year did Pluto become incorrectly, in my opinion, reclassified as a dwarf planet? Got to get it within 5 years. 2006,
Uday.
you nailed it, Uday. Good job. All right.
Oh, nailed it. Good deal.
I'm going to sign off.
Okay, so as far as planets again, what is the second smallest planet within our solar system? We know the smallest one is Mercury, but who's the second smallest?
Mars.
You got it. Ding, 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 ding. And one of my favorite questions, because it's the first one.
Gracie, I have to disagree with that. Pluto.
I was going to say Pluto.
No, it's Mars.
Pluto.
It's not a planet.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
And if you want to go listing dwarf planets, then you have to include Ceres.
Pallas.
Yeah, there you go.
Continue on.
Oh boy, now the discussion ensues.
Now we throw it out.
The arguments and the beer discussions.
Who was the first woman to travel into space?
Who was what?
Who was the first woman to travel into space?
Valentina Tereshkova.
You are
very good.
Correct. Thank you very much. And what year was she in space? It was in the 60s.
1964 or 60s.
You are very close.
Yeah.
63.
63.
Early in the space program. So here's a multiple choice question regarding you being on Mars and you weigh 200 pounds on Earth. How much would you weigh on Mars? Here are your options. 56 pounds, 76 pounds, 96 pounds, or 106 pounds. So if you weigh, nope, not 106. A process of elimination. You'd be 76 pounds if you were on Mars. Okay. More multiple choice questions. A black hole with the mass of the Earth would be the size of what? Here are your choices. What was that? Would be size of the moon, size of a golf ball, or a marble. Keep in mind that black holes are very dense. And Diana, you would be right. It is a marble. Good for you. The Magellanic Clouds are what type of object? Here's your choices. Irregular galaxies, spiral galaxies, elliptical galaxies, or simply large clouds of gas and dust.
Irregular.
Very good. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Another multiple choice. What is the term for the condition when 3 or more celestial bodies are arranged in a straight line? Here are your choices. Grand conjunction, syzygy, Newtonian alignment, or planetary convergence. It's everybody's favorite word. Because it's so hard to spell. It's syzygy. S-Y-Z-Y-G-Y.
Gracie, isn't that an exit when we take the 15 out to Las Vegas?
It totally is. You see it right there. Big old sign. There it goes.
There it is.
In this direction, that direction. Another multiple choice. Historically, which of the following would be considered a lunarian? Here are your choices. Someone born on the moon, an astronaut living on the moon, one who navigates a ship using lunar distances, or a planetary scientist who studies the moon. And I will have to say this was an odd question. I had to look this up myself. It's actually
repeat the question.
I can absolutely do that. Historically, which of the following would be considered a lunarian? Someone born on the moon, an astronaut living on the moon, one who navigates a ship using lunar distances, or a planetary scientist who studies the moon. It's one, oh, what's that?
I would say it was the ship navigator.
And you'd be absolutely correct. Good for you. Here's another short answer section. What is a highly magnetized rotating neutron star called?
Magnestar.
Magnetar.
No.
Pulsar?
Pulsar, you got it. Here I thought it was a Pointer Sisters song. Neutron dance, okay. Moving along. Of the original 9 planets, 7 have 1 or more natural satellites. Name the only 2 moonless planets in this group.
Venus.
That's one.
Venus and Mercury.
Mercury.
You got it.
Mercury. Yeah.
Good. Okay, now let's look at the atmospheres. Triton, which is one of Neptune's moon and the 7th largest moon in the solar system, has a frozen surface of a common gas. What is this gas? It's not oxygen. It's not methane. But it's
Nitrogen.
common. Nitrogen.
Ammonia.
Nitrogen. Ding, 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 ding. So atmosphere on Mars is mostly composed of what gas? And you would be right, carbon dioxide, U-Day. Okay, NASA is planning another unique helicopter mission to the richly organic world of Titan with a launch planned in 2027. Titan's dense atmosphere is composed of 5% methane and 95% of which gas? Yes, it is nitrogen. Bill Cheney with the win. And here's my last question, and that's probably one of my favorites. For all of you Star Wars aficionados, how many members are in the Jedi Council? Come on, you can do it. It's less than 20. Less than 15. Uday, you're close. The magic number is 12. Diana goes the winner. All righty, shall I go back to you, Ken?
Yeah, I'll try a few. Here's a multiple choice. Neil Armstrong became the first person to step foot on the moon in 1969, followed by Buzz Aldrin. But what was the name of the third crewmate who stayed in the Apollo 11 command module in orbit around the moon?
Michaels.
That Shepard?
Hold it. Collins. Michael Collins.
Michael Collins.
Yes, that's right. Oh, we're good at space questions. How about this? Halley's Comet is the most famous comet orbiting the sun and can be seen from Earth every 76 years. When will Halley's Comet return? I'll give you choices. 2028, 2045, 2061, or 2775. I know I won't be alive for any of them. 2028, 2045, 2061, 2075.
Oh, I see Jeff has got it. And
Got
so
it.
does Albert.
Albert, 2061.
That looks like about the speed of a Google search there, sports fan.
Do we need to go faster? We can't disable their internet because
Just a simple observation. That's all.
Yeah, well, okay, but okay, that's okay. Now I have got a run of questions in a nod to Father's Day, and these are a series of father of questions. No multiple choice. You just have to name the fathers. Who, you'll get this. Who did Albert Einstein call the father of modern science? I'm sorry. We heard a lecture about his finger. Father of modern science. Ooh, Galileo, yes.
Galileo.
Okay, now here's a real tough one. This is one of those astronomers no one remembers. This father was a pioneer in astronomical spectroscopy and was one of the first scientists to state authoritatively that our sun is a star. Who is the father of astronomical spectroscopy? He's a Jesuit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you aren't going to get it. It was Angelo Secchi. This was about, I think he died in the early 1880s. Okay, you already know this. Who is considered the father of physics? physics?
Archimedes.
Newton. Isaac Newton.
Oh yeah.
Who's best considered the father of the atom? He won a Nobel Prize, but not an Olympic medal. His brother won an Olympic medal. He was from Scandinavia.
Oh,
We
Jeff
call
Bennett.
it the blank atom. Bohr, Niels Bohr. Yes, Aziz. Okay, who is the father of the atomic bomb? Oh, you know this one. Oppenheimer. Yes, there he is. Got it. Okay, who's the father of the hydrogen bomb? He used to call it the super. Edward Teller, Jeff Stevens. Yes. Okay, can I do a few more? Okay, enough fathers. Let's go to famous women. These are tough. Who was the first internationally known woman to work as both a professional astronomer and a professor of astronomy? She was also the first woman elected fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. I'll give you a hint because you're thinking of Annie Jump Cannon. Her first name was Maria Mitchell. Yes, Dave. Nice.
Woo!
Okay. And she also discovered a comet that was known as Miss Mitchell's Comet. And she got a gold medal for her discovery, which was presented to her by the King of Denmark. Okay. Who was the first woman to receive a salary as a scientist and the first woman in England to hold a government position? She was also the first woman to publish scientific findings in the Transactions of the Royal Society, to be awarded a gold medal of the Royal Astronomical Society, and she also received a medal from the King of Prussia. Carolyn Herschel, yes. And now, if I can turn the page. You'll get this. Who in 1967, as a graduate student at Cambridge, first observed pulsars? Eleanor Zwicky, Antonia Maury, Jocelyn Bell Burnell, Annie Jump Cannon. Yes, Uday, Jocelyn. Okay. And here's a hard one. Who was the first female commander of the International Space Station? She was not a test pilot, a military test pilot. And until recently, she had the record for the longest time in space. Peggy Whitson. And she was also included in Time Magazine 100 Most Influential People of 2018. So I think I've gone through my list or my series. Mike, do you want to take over?
I do. Thank you very much for that. I want to issue one point of clarification. I believe there was a question as who was the father of physics, and someone yelled out Archimedes. Whoever you are, I agree with you. He got screwed. Feel free to use the chat there. Okay. True or false, the total mass of all the asteroids combined is less than that of Earth's mass. Less than Earth's moon. The total mass of all asteroids combined is less than that of the Earth's moon. True or false? You got a 50-50 shot. False. Thank you for guessing. It is true. It's true. You guys ready for Gracie to start again? Okay. No. Stacy says there's Stacy. Gracie says no.
No,
Bode's law is a formulaic prediction of spacing between the planets in any given solar system. The orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn fit neatly into this pattern. Which planet, discovered in 1781, also obeyed the law? So really the question is, which planet was discovered in 1781? But it predicted the location. Anyone?
Neptune.
Close. Very close.
Uranus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Multiple choice. What is the brightest crater on the moon? And that is from a visual standpoint. We haven't done IQ testing on them. Is it Copernicus? Is it Aristarchus? Is it Chasen? Or is it Tycho?
Tycho.
No pandering here. No, it's not Tycho.
Oh.
Sorry. It sounds like a Greek
Jason.
tragedy.
Gotta be Chasen.
Aristarchus. Definitely, I'm not that luminary. Okay, another multiple guess. When was the first Earth Day? What year? 1954, 1966, 1970, or 1976? First Earth Day.
70.
Yes, sir.
70.
That sounded like our president.
Whoa.
Nailed it. Number 50. What is the meaning of the Greek term planetai? And it is asking me to spell that out. Planetai, planetai. Does that Greek term mean wanderer, stars, dust, or stones?
Wanderer.
Wanderer, very good. Credit to who said that, and also to Uday in the chat there. 51 here. Only one planet in the solar system has a day that is longer than its year. What planet is that?
Venus.
Venus.
Woo.
Very good. Rounded to the nearest day, the Mercurian year is equal to how many days? This is a multiple guess. Oh, Uday, you got it even before I got to give the answer. Strong work, 88. Very good. Okay, I'll do a couple more here. Eugene Shoemaker was A, philosopher, B, a geologist, C, a chemist, or D, a physicist? Physicist, I'm sorry, you're not correct.
Geologist.
Geologist, very good. Last one I'm gonna take a stab at here are asteroids are often grouped by which of the following? Their composition, their size, their mass, or their weight?
All the above.
Composition.
Composition is correct. Strong work. Okay, Gracie, kick it over to you. Or Stacy.
More multiple choice, thank you. Who discovered the asteroid Pallas? Was it Pallas Athena, Giuseppe Piazzi, William Denning, or Wilhelm Olbers?
Repeat the answers, please.
It was okay. Your choices are Pallas Athena, Giuseppe Piazzi, William Denning, or Wilhelm Olbers.
Giuseppe.
Nope. It was Wilhelm Olbers. There's a question about the rings of Saturn. They were discovered by Kepler, Ptolemy, Copernicus, or Galileo?
Galileo.
Galileo.
Galileo indeed.
He thought they were ears.
He thought they were ears.
Which astronomer determined that Saturn's rings are composed of smaller rings with gas? We had a flyby over there by that name. Cassini.
Cassini.
And the astronomer Tycho Brahe was known for this: use of the telescope, accurate observations of planetary positions, a theory of epicycles, for the measurement of the Earth's rotation? And you would be right, Aziz. It is the accurate observations of planetary positions. And also Uday, you're both right. Which state in the US did Backpacker magazine name as having the greatest number of dark sky locations? Nope, not California.
Texas.
What were some more states from California?
Montana.
No, too far.
Oh.
Close to the Southwest. Yeah, Bob Rock, it's Utah. Good for you. So what device first proved that Earth rotates on its axis? Was it the Archimedes screw, tidal gauge, telescope, or the Foucault pendulum? And Uday's right. And point of fact, the Foucault pendulum is over at the Nat, and we saw that when we had one of our annual banquets. We saw it go back and forth. Okay, another multiple choice. When was the first orbital space shuttle flight? It was in 1975, 1980, 81, or 84.
81.
Ding, 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 correct.
Ooh.
And what was the name of that shuttle? In 1981. Was it?
Columbia.
It was a Columbia. Very, very good. Well, this is another sad fact, but one that we included in here. What was the name of the space shuttle that exploded due to defective O-rings on the solid booster rocket in 1986?
Challenger.
Challenger. Yeah. There are 4 retired space shuttles on display in the United States. In which city is the one closest to San Diego?
Los Angeles.
That's right. And hopefully everybody watched it on TV.
LA.
In LA.
Exposition Park.
Exactly, the California Science Center. How many years ago was the meteor crater in Arizona created? Was it 50,000 years, 150, 12 million, or 25 million years ago?
50,000.
And you'd be right, 50,000. The Yerkes Observatory houses the largest telescope in the world when it opened in 1897 and still houses the largest refractor. When was the observatory closed to the public? Was it 1950, 1987, 2005, or 2018? Aziz is correct, 2018, due to, I'm going to guess, the pandemic. And I think someone had this next answer in the chat. Who was the first American woman in space? Yes. And it is Sally Ride. And Albert got it, Uday has it too. I think I got it. Oh, I'm almost at the end. Oh, aren't you guys happy? Who was the first female astronomer to observe on the 200-inch telescope at Palomar Observatory? Was it Carolyn Shoemaker, Vera Rubin, Eleanor Helen, or Jean Mueller?
Shoemaker.
Nope. The remaining choices are Vera Rubin. Jose, you would be right. And if you folks were or are Star Trek Discovery, you enjoy the Star Trek Discovery, in season 3, they actually had a nebula named after her called the Rubin Nebula. So, cool little fact if I really love that show. Here's your last question. Who from the US space program made the famous declaration, "Failure is not an option"? Was it James Lovell, John Glenn, Gene Kranz, or Neil Armstrong?
Gene Kranz.
Absolutely, Gene Kranz. Tally them up.
Yeah, tally them up.
We are done here. How well did everybody do? Anybody with 10 or more?
3 from Mike Jason. Oh, Mike.
And he had a cheat sheet in front of him too. That's pretty sad.
He had a cheat sheet and there was a crater named after him too.
I know, snotty nosed kid. We got that. 5?
7.
Oh, we got 7. Oh, okay. Jose got 5.
5. 30, Bob Roth. 34. Okay, Uday, how did you do? Participation trophy.
Everybody gets a star.
Yes, right.
Everybody gets a star.
14.
That's decent.
Bob Roth. No one else is willing to disclose.
No, I'm thinking Uday wins on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, no, Bob Roth got 34.
Yeah, I'm believing that like anything.
Yeah, I think Uday seemed to.
Sorry, Bob.
It is fair. I didn't always announce them as fast as I was saying, I know that one.
Well, we have to do this on the honor system after all.
I know.
You know, we could have loaded them into Zoom and had, electronic thing, and the whole thing could have been over in 15 minutes. And
this was much more
like
fun.
A test. Yeah, it's been too much like a test at school.
well, you can realize that a few of those questions, my wife came up with the question. I'll leave it to your imagination. Well, now you've heard this set of trivia questions. Does anybody want to pose a trivia question to the group? Some secret question you've been harboring, like Angelo Secchi, who's a guy I've read a lot about. Anybody? Any questions? Any one of those brain stumpers? You've got one.
I have one. How does the solar system organize a birthday party? They plan it.
They plan it.
They have a constellation of friends. They have a constellation of friends.
Not funny. Stupid.
They use a merry-go-round. Okay, Reed came up with a question. What is the farthest human-made object in space not launched by the United States? We're gonna have to look it up. He doesn't know the answer. That's a very good question. What is the farthest human-made object in space not launched by the United States? Anybody had time to look it up?
I haven't looked it up, but I would guess it is the Russian probes that went to Venus.
Ah.
The Venera series, I think.
Yes.
Farthest, let's see if we understand the question. The farthest human-made object, I guess farthest from the Earth.
Didn't the Chinese crash something into Mars,
thinking.
not on purpose?
Chinese have something on Mars, don't they?
So does the European Union.
Yeah.
That's right. I Googled
Mars
it.
is close. Mars is closer than Venus. Maybe not so at the opposition, but.
When I Googled it, everything said Voyager 1, which we know is not the right answer.
I was wondering if it might be the ones launched the asteroids potentially. I know ESA has one. There was a Japanese probe.
Oh yeah, the Japanese probe to the asteroids probably much.
But that
further.
came back, right?
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah, that
Part
makes
of it did. Were there no non-US missions to the outer planets, to like Jupiter? I was wondering that.
Only the U.S. has gotten out past the asteroid belt.
Where did Magellan go, Aziz? Oh, wasn't Magellan? It was mapping Venus, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got a lot of competition for Venus. No one else has been out to Pluto. And the gas giants, Cassini. Isn't Cassini ours? US?
Yes.
With the later probes, you're ending up with group projects where ESA and the USA and the Japanese are all working together on the same project. So how would you count that?
That's a good question. Human-made object, not launched. Launch has got to be the key because there are a lot of things that maybe that's the key to the question.
I was thinking more missions, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking. Because a lot of companies have components and part of a consortium, instruments. Okay. The Tesla. Okay, any other questions? Any other brain stumpers? Well, I'm disappointed that people
check the chat box.
Who's the only astronaut fired by NASA?
Oh, here's one. Here is now this is a very good question. Who is the only astronaut fired by NASA, and how many times did he go into space? Oh, remember, it might have been Scott. We'll have to look that up. Remember, he did get in trouble, and they wouldn't let him go in space again.
Shepard?
Give up.
Shepard?
Is it Scott Carpenter?
Negative.
Shepard?
Nope.
There was a lady astronaut that got in trouble with the
with the diaper.
Yeah.
with the diaper thing.
Somebody?
She stopped her ex-boyfriend.
Nope.
No.
The answer is John Young. And he got fired by Gene Cernan because he took a peanut butter sandwich up in Gemini 3 and ate a sandwich in Gemini 3.
Oh,
really?
He's been into space 6 times, Gemini 3, Gemini 10, Apollo 10, and Apollo 16. He was also a good friend of mine. He flew the very first space shuttle mission to space. John Young was the captain.
Here's one. What is the oldest observatory at TDS?
Lip.
Is that the Lip? I don't know if it's the Lip or not.
I think it is.
I tried to look up who was the first president of SDAA, and Craig Ewing has got a PDF book, but even he, when he did research, wasn't quite sure. Because apparently our records aren't that good.
Our records are good. It's just that we don't keep them.
Cena's is the earliest. The answer came up.
So which is the newest?
Tarot?
I think you're right. I don't know for sure.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
The newest Club telescope is the Cruisen, or the newest observatory.
Cruisen.
Yeah.
We all know which astronaut was the only scientist to go to land on the moon?
So this little thing is the presidential gavel.
Where?
I'm holding up there in front of the screen.
Yes.
Okay, and it says on the presidential gavel that apparently the first president to hold this one was W.F. Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah.
Well, there's the answer. Who was the first astronaut on the moon with a PhD? He had a PhD in, not the geology guy, that's Harrison Schmitt. It was in some kind of orbital mechanics. Now you know, Gracie.
Clayton Anderson? No, sorry.
Buzz Aldrin. Any more stumpers? Dave Woods, you've got that expectant look like you're ready to ask something. He muted himself. That's no fair. AC?
Yes.
You must have a stumper.
I hardly got any other ones right. Why would I have a stumper?
Oh. Were these too hard?
It will be fun to go back and re-listen to the recordings.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, you know, I had no idea that the sunset on Mars was blue. I caught the question somewhere, and it can't be right. And I looked it up. It has to be an orange, but no. In fact, everybody was convinced it was blue.
That's because I read about it and saw the picture of it on the APOD.
Ooh.
Astronomy Picture of the day.
Yep. Have we had anybody from SDAA who has published a picture in APOD as an APOD? I think we have.
The answer is yes.
Was it
remember who it is?
Was it Vandervorst?
No, it was Jeff.
Jeff Herman?
No, Jeff had the first robotic observatory. Vandervorst bought his observatory.
Oh, Langenhofer?
Yes, there you go. Yes, Jeff Langenhofer. Yes, he did have. He absolutely had one on APOD.
That's a good one.
Well, Carl Weber, I think, has had some on there too.
On APOD or AAPOD?
APOD.
Yeah.
Well, we seem to have run out of questions for each other. Any last stump the chumps type question? Well, thanks for participating in this. I kind of ran out. The story is I just ran out of speakers. Everybody who I asked to be a speaker, and I gave them choices of dates. Nobody wanted June. Just nobody wanted June. So we had to do it yourself. And if we do this again next time, anytime anybody's brave enough to try to do it, because it takes forever to come up with the questions, maybe we ought to do some images.
Yes.
Here's an image. What do you think this is? Or maybe ask questions about it.
Good idea.
Two separate areas for that. SDAA imagers images and the official NASA images.
Ooh, well, I was thinking about taking pictures of things at TDS, you know, like, what is this object? Well, okay, I think this will be a short meeting. I don't really have anything else. By the way, the ratio of preparation time to actual meeting time is just fierce to try to do this, but all these questions are documented so they can be used again sometime when we've gotten old and forgetful and the memory's shot. You can use the questions again.
Somebody in the chat asked, what is 23 hours and 56 minutes called? 1 minute short of a day?
How about 4 minutes short of a day?
Oh, but there's a thing about a day.
That's my question, yes.
Sidereal day.
That's correct.
Sidereal day. And by the way, the lunar distances question came up because I was reading a navigation book just because I felt like it. And, you know, despite the PBS thing about the Harrison clock, the alternate method for determining longitude was through lunar distances. And that is measuring the angle from a celestial object to the moon. And it has to be on the same side, same limb of the moon. But frankly, that was successful. The Reverend Maskelyne became the Astronomer Royal. The first edition of the Nautical Almanac was based on lunar distances, not based on our modern observations that use a chronometer to get time. So, you know, they kind of made a big deal about it, but lunar distances was very popular for a while. It's just not as accurate. Lunar distances get you to about 10 miles, and a chronometer-based celestial gets you to about half a mile. Just, I had to throw the question in just because nobody would get it. I should have whispered it to you, Gracie, but you knew the answer already.
Can't imagine how. Well, thanks for putting all these questions together, though. This is awesome.
Yeah, you know, frankly, we ought to keep them in a repository somewhere so they can be. But I'll tell you, there is a drawback to questions like this. Is a lot of them are temporal, because, you know, discoveries, changes, events, so forth. The first ever is always the first ever, but the number of moons and all kinds of things change. So anyway. But so thank you for playing along with this. Congratulations to those who did well. I think anything over 20 must have been, you know, a super astronomical or science buff. And so again, thanks again. I hope it was fun. Next month, we'll be back to the regular types of lecture series with the public affairs officer from Lowell Observatory. Any final questions? Any comments? That's it. Well, for those who are going to the Grand Canyon, have a great time. Safe trip.
Thanks again, Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, you all have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Okay, good night.
Night.
You know, the questions went faster than I thought.
Yeah, I kind of figured. The other thing you might try next time is if very quickly, just do a quick PowerPoint presentation with a few of them on, with a few of the questions on the slides.
You know, that's, yeah, mechanically they could have been, yeah, I could have done them in PowerPoint. You know, frankly, it was a lot of trouble coming up with, I mean, there are gazillions of, you know, questions like this, but most of them are either, you know, kind of goofy or inaccurate or maybe trivial. So yeah, but you're right. I could have done PowerPoint. I could have projected them. But maybe next time, maybe the next vice president can just do a bang up job now that there's a stake in the ground.
Yep. There you go. That'll be the fun part.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Okay. Take care. Good night.